tuberculum cell meningioma. We do a lot of transnasal endoscopic work here. According to Raj, we're one of the busier skull base programs with a lot of anterior skull base. We certainly see a lot of this here. So the residents should be becoming very, very familiar with it. So I'm just going to go to some of the videos. And this is frequently what we see when we come into the room these days with our amazing colleagues in ENT. This is often the exposure I will see, and you will see them get here. By this time, they've maybe removed the turbinate if there's going to be a nasal septal flap, and we're doing a bilateral approach. They've opened up the anterior sphenoid. They've removed the sphenoid. So this is the anatomy we see. I see Travis right there. So Travis, you see my mouse here? What are we looking at here?
That looks like the floor of the cella.
Right. Okay. So this is the midline. This is the back of the sphenoid, and this is the expanded cella. We know that there's a meningioma that was pushing the pituitary down, and this meningioma is above this. So now, as we go out to the sides, we have a very expansive view. The biggest difference between the endoscope view and the microscope view is this wide angle. This probably represents, I want to say 3 centimeters at least. So as we go towards this area over here, what are we going to be looking for?
We're looking for a carotid.
Okay.
Cavernous sinus.
Well, we're going to look for the carotid, and then above the carotid, what are we going to look for?
The inflow optic nerve, optic
Okay.
mac recess.
And that's right. And then this gel foam would be in the optico-carotid recess here, which often can be seen. And how would you identify whether or not you are in the right location?
We could use stereotaxy to confirm as one adjunct.
So that's what this is there. And then how would you want to double confirm it?
You can use the there's kind of a divot where the optico-carotid recess exists. There's kind of a curvature of the carotid as it goes into that.
Yes, I think that you can visually confirm. Is there any other way to confirm that's the carotid without cutting into it?
You can look for cavernous sinus bleeding outside of it. If you have access, you can put a microdoppler in that region and listen for arterial pulsatility.
Yeah, okay. I like that one. I like that one better than looking for bleeding. Because bleeding is going to find you even if you don't look for it. But yeah, I think even with bone covering the carotid, sometimes you'll hear it through the thinned out bone. And it is important to recognize that because of the pulsatility, the bone can be anywhere from dehiscent to thick over this anterior loop of the internal carotid artery here. And so when you use the drill on it, the diamond that we have on the long handle is not a smooth diamond, it's a rough diamond. They don't make a smooth diamond as far as I can tell for this. And so it's a far more, this thing here is a far more aggressive diamond. So okay, here we're drilling on what structure, what part of the bone here?
Like the tuberculum.
That's the tuberculum, that's right. And so this bone's going to be thick, and that is okay to drill. See how rough this diamond is here? That's if you take it down over this carotid, which is right here, you can see it through there. You could easily get into the carotid with that, and I've done that myself personally. So I'm speaking from experience. So this is your optical carotid recess here, and this then would therefore be what? Where my mouse is.
Yeah, optic nerve.
Yeah, that's going to be the posterior part of the optic nerve right at the orbital apex.
Dr. Betterson, I'm sorry to interrupt. In the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, there's a reminders box. Can you just close it?
Okay. Is that better?
Thanks. Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Hope the reminder didn't say yell at Peter or something like that. So now, how are we going to safely remove this bone? Well, you're seeing the answer right here. I think it is far safer to do it this way, one bite at a time, because if you can watch this instrument going in, and eventually you can get to a complete exposure of this here. And let's just go down to most of this case is exposure in my view. The whole thing is easy after the exposure. And so in this particular surgery on Thursday, we've probably spent, I want to say, 45 minutes to an hour with this second part of the exposure after ENT's part. And then about 20 minutes removing the tumor. Is that right, Kurt? Okay, so this is more or less the exposure. You've got both carotids. You've got the bone open almost all the way up. And but still that's not enough, because I want to see, if we know where the carotids are, Travis, why would we want to expose the bone over them? What could be gained by that?
Travis lost Wi-Fi, so he's rejoining, but maybe a second.
Okay.
Oh.
Trevor? So we know where they are. What would be the advantage?
In some cases, you'd be able to see if there is any invasion of the tumor around the carotid. You'd be able to just confirm that there's nothing hiding around them.
I think that's reasonable. I like to have this wide exposure, which you literally have uncovered both carotids and the proximal optics, as well in front of the tuberculum. I like to have